on Facebook. I just want to discuss something very briefly. In reference to our people, specifically the diasporic aspect of our people, those of us who are not in Africa but outside of Africa. All over the place, so on and so forth. Specifically speaking to North America, right here, specifically. We gotta do a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because when we examine our condition, we are perpetuating certain aspects of an institution called slavery that has still, lingers in us, in our actions, our traits, our characteristics, and so on and so forth. Because see, when you don't have a particular knowledge of something, you are able to be in accord with that which you don't have knowledge of, or out of accord with that which you don't have knowledge of. You understand what I'm saying? So when we're dealing on this level, and what I'm examining specifically is intra, the prefix intra, intra. The prefix intra is a Latin word which means within. It comes from the Latin. It means within. So I want to examine some of our elements from within that affects us within our own community, our own diasporic circle. Number one, the ideology of what I call intra-discrimination or intra-prejudice. Light skin, dark skin. You know what I mean? That's some nonsense. You know what I'm saying? That has manifested itself from a slave plantation teaching. There's a theory that goes along with light skin and dark skin and so on and so forth that we continue to perpetuate as people, which is why we can't even unify with each other, because I'm light skinned and you dark skinned, and that's a problem. So when we talk unity and freedom, these are some of the things that I'm talking about that we must get over before we can be free. Because we have to free ourselves from the nonsense that we have been indoctrinated with. You understand what I'm saying? We don't live in the crayon box. You know what I mean? But we portray and perpetuate that particular type of information. Everywhere you look. Empire, this TV show called Empire, whatever. I just seen something about 50 Cent and Terrence Howard having a beef about complexions. Yo, that's crazy. Because we're in 2015 and we're showing that we are still in the state of adolescence. We haven't matured. You understand what I'm saying? Because we haven't matured because we don't recognize that there's something broke. You know what I'm saying? We recognize what's broke outside of us, but we don't recognize what's broke within us, within our circle. Within this diasporic circle, there's many elements and many things that are broken, and we must look and examine these things. The intra-racism is one of them, the light skin, the dark skin thing. We can no longer protect abusers, molesters, and people who will cause harm to our families and so on and so forth, because that's a perpetuation too. That continues, the cycle continues. See, when somebody is born doing something or having something done to them and they're not told that it's wrong or right, they will usually believe or grow up thinking that it's normal. And what we call normal is really abnormal. And what we call abnormal is really the normal. You understand what I'm saying? So the normal today is abnormal and the behavior is abnormal. You understand? But it's been conditioned to be normal. So this is the reason why we got to look at each other and we got to ask ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Why is it predominantly most sisters have been molested? And if most young sisters have been molested, most brothers have been molested or had somebody they know who have been molested, or sisters have had somebody who they know have been molested or have been molested themselves. We have predators in our family. We have predators in our community. And these are the things that we have to fix. You know what I'm saying? So you wonder why we have broken relationships between man and woman, because we have baggage. We've been victimized within our own circle. And that's something that we have to discuss. We have predators within our own circle who have taken on the characteristics of a system that's broke. They have become the system. You understand? They have looked at their own people and see that it is more conducive for them to hunt amongst their own than to hunt outside, if that's their thing or whatever. But to even hunt in this manner is a psychosis. You understand what I'm saying? And all of these psychoses stem from a lack of knowledge, not knowing the origin. So we have many elements in our community. We have things that we have to examine. This is why relationships go wrong with us. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know how to have proper relationships because we haven't had them. You understand what I'm saying? This is why our children self-medicate and do certain things when trauma happens in the community, or when somebody dies. Instead of having bereavement like in the European communities, when somebody dies, they shut the schools down and so on and so forth. They bring in counselors. You know what I mean? But when it happens to us, we self-medicate. We go get high. We drink. We build a little, we build a little mausoleum outside, mausoleum and so on and so forth. And we medicate and we drink. We don't have the access to the resources. So we have to become our own resources. But before we can become our own resources, we have to remove all of the liability from us. We have to remove all of the things from us that will bind us to stay in the condition we're in. You understand what I'm saying? Because there are some people who want to keep us in this condition. You know what I mean? So our thing is to break apart that which is being perpetuated. We're not lazy people. We're not thieves, robbers, and killers. You know what I'm saying? We're none of those things. You know what I mean? But society and environment can produce and give you a surrounding that makes these things conducive, that you can fall right in and become all of these other things. You see what I'm saying? So we have to examine all of this. We have to move beyond light-skinned and dark-skinned. What is a light skin and what is a dark skin? Really, you're playing the game of race. You're playing a game that you was socialized to play. Light skin, dark skin, red, green, black, yellow. It's a game. You understand? And for all of those brothers and sisters, who tie into the whole ideology of the game, well, a game is played. You know what I'm saying? But the real players create their own game so they can win the game because they can make their own rules for the game. They write the game by their own instructions and play by their rules and they'll win. But when you playing a game that you don't even know is a game and you playing by the rules of unwritten rules that you don't know nothing about, you will always lose. You understand what I'm saying? So it is time for us to rewrite and begin to play our game, a game that's conducive for us. But before we can play that game, we have to clean up a lot of the baggage. We have to clean up the untalked about things, the things that's swept under the rug and so on and so forth. We got to pull the rug back and pull all that shit out. Because if we don't, we'll be in this position 50 more years from now. We'll be in this position 100 more years from now. We'll just be talking. But we have to move beyond that and be what we know. And you have to check your surroundings. You can't protect a pedophile or someone. You can't just knock it off like something is wrong with them or we can forgive them or we'll pray for them. Some things you can't pray for. Some things you can't forgive. I said this before. You understand what I'm saying? We have to clean our house, man. We have to clean our house. And in order for us to do that, there's things that we have to look at. And in order for us to move forward and to get what we need to get and to do what we need to do and be who we need to be, we have to be and move in truth. We have to do that. And we have to use love. And love is a force. I'm not talking the mushy stuff. Love is a force. Creates, unites, and destroys. And it binds. This is what love does. It can destroy. So love is a good thing. You understand what I'm saying? And this force can destroy falsehoods and expose negativities and so on and so forth. So this is what we want to do. You know what I mean? This is why I'm talking about these particular types of things. So we have to move beyond the color schemes and stop playing by the crayon box. Peace.